Shadow Isles. Blinked on the region.
Shadow Isles, yep. Alrighty, and I am curious what the bans are going to end up being, because I'm very curious what the players thought was going to be weak for their lineup. It's going to be interesting because I actually like Dog keeping a very expensive hand in the case where you're against Karina. Your opponent doesn't normally curve out very well, and even if they do, it's not even that bad. It's a horde of spiders that you will just kill on round 4 with Twisted Fate. So your opponent can attack you on 1 and 3, but that's it. But yeah, getting Swain down on 5 flipped is very hard to kill. With 7 health, it's really only Vengeance that stops you, and that's kind of unlikely. So yeah, House Spider on 2, not bad as well.
Yeah, not surprising to see the Demacia decks banned out on both sides. I think those are definitely the 2 most threatening decks when they account for their archetypes. Dog is running the Karma Lux control builds. And on the other side for Swim, it's the pretty much all-in, Bannerman deck with, the single copy of Fury of the North to represent the 6th region. And so I pretty much agree with you on what you said too. I think that Swain flipping is really the biggest threat that Swim has to think about. And so because of that, how much pressure can you apply to a board and get away with without something going pretty atrociously bad for you? And so I think that's a really good point you make with like Twisted Fate versus Elise. Killing a bunch of spiders. You don't necessarily have to have an answer to Elise if you have Twisted Fate. Just, farm it basically. Use it as a benefit to flipping your Swain earlier. Yeah, and Dread by Deckhand is actually some cool texture as well because it means the gold card outright kills Elise. Of course, it's interesting because you would want to bait the Brood Awakening so that it comes down and then you're like, aha, you've activated my quite literal trap card as the red card comes down and clears the board and takes that entire card out. And then, a 1/1 kills Elise at some point down the line by attacking. But you can go for the more instant proactive play and just say, nope, let's go TF, gold card, Elise is dead. What do you have on 4? Hopefully it's nothing, let's swing. TF's pretty much always going to die to a Mystic Shot or something, but this is a decent attack because it also means that red card will finish killing Elise once she's done blocking. I will also say there's an argument to be made for a TF going blue card here because there is so little value being gained. Just killing the Elise is not that strong. Yeah, that's kind of my question too. Is just like how big of a threat is Elise really? This is a game that both players expect to go to the later stages. Yeah, the one thing I will say is red card is worth 4 XP on Swain, which is very good. Because you want him to level up as soon as possible. You hope he's out of thermogenic beam range. Hard to remove from Mystic Shot and stuff like that, but
I have to pass.
This is a choice, and it's actually a pretty reasonable one to wait around and think about. But yeah, he's gonna go ahead and just bank. He's gonna kind of wait. Unfortunately for Swim, has really nothing to play. At least gets to hit face. Cannot pull the barrel into the 1/1, but can make at least hit it. The 1/1 gets blocked and traded most likely.
Because I don't think I don't have it. I'm really just trying to bait this thing out right now.
And not going for the barrel is interesting because
the damage.
Yeah, and this is interesting as well because again, if I'm tunneling really hard on, let's say, Swain experience, leaving up a spider gives me another 2 damage on Twisted Fate red card, or even 1 damage if they kill the barrel. It's if I really care about Swain XP, I can do that and leave up more units on the board. That's a really big tell that you have AoE, obviously, because they'll take that trade back against you. So you're taking free face damage otherwise. But ultimately, right, not playing for the tempo Swain. Although even here, it wouldn't even be that horrible because you would force out Thermogenic or Vengeance, and Swain doesn't have any blockers on the board.
I think I'm okay with that.
And so developing on 6 and developing on 5 is kind of interesting to me.
I mean, just the fact that the mana was passed back as well. I'm really curious, where this ends up going. What are the valuing is really important here. And for Dog, it's just play the Swain as a threat. I mean, this has threatened to connect for 6 damage as well. That's a big problem for Swim, and that's not something he's interested in at all.
Yeah, but thankfully for Swim, he's got 3 Thermo Beams, and the only cards worth thermoing in this deck are Swain and Riptide Rex. And
use all
3
the spell
Swains
mana,
and 1 Rex.
The fact that it consumes all the spell mana is a really big deal.
Yeah, but at the same time, what else is he even doing? He's got nothing else to play. He also now knows that Dog has nothing to play either. In that, Dog has 1 minion mana. What's coming down? Nothing you care about. A Hapless Aristocrat, who cares? Or some to that effect, right? There's actually no 1 mana minions in Dog's deck. So Thermo is fairly safe unless you bank again, and then you still have to wait 3 rounds before you can play your minions anyway.
Yeah. That's just what I'm just thinking about is how does this momentum swing? Like how can Dog take advantage of the fact that he's got 3 spell mana to 0 at this point? Like I think that was his overall goal, and I'm curious, you know, how this payoff actually works out.
Yeah,
because he could have just played the Swain on the previous turn and chose not to.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make it rain.
Obviously, I trust Dog's judgment, right? He's in the finals here. He's obviously a very, very good player. I'm just, yeah, I'm a little surprised at how long he is waiting when you're against the deck that knows they want to play a bunch of 9-drops.
The removal thing, but it's fine. Make it rain.
This is a 6 damage Make It Rain. It's going to be a ton of Swain XP next time he draws one. It's obviously going to be not taking any more face damage. We know that there's no plays for Swim here, but Swim can like sit around and wait and say like, hey, can I pretend there's stuff to do? This could have been a Withering Wail, for example, which would have killed the barrel before it hits face, and that would have saved Swim 1 Nexus health.
Yeah, I think Swim is really thinking about, you know, what does the second Swain look like right now? Or what does it look like if, you know, Dog plays TF and just passes or what have you?
Yeah. Withering Wail would have been good against second Swain. I don't know exactly how much XP Swain has, but Withering Wail would have prevented 3 Swain experience.
He passed, I'll pass.
Only has 1 Mystic Shot, so, you know, trying to bait out the removal and then, you know, try to keep TF alive can have value. Zap Spray Fin, pretty solid here, but so is Leviathan.
Going to 8's pretty good when I have this much burn in hand.
Just open the attacks, get the 5 in.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a really interesting, kind of meticulous game. Dog's really trying to manipulate the momentum of this more than anything else. He's saying, well, you get to play your 9-drop. I get to play my leveled up Swain. That's like the hope of what's going on down here, I think.
Yeah. I'm just not sure he could ever be in a state where the 9-drop doesn't just block Swain every time and then, you know, refill spell mana and go again. Because Swain is worse. Well, okay, if you can get Swain to flip and then have Nexus damage to block those things, then Swain hits face and everything goes really, really well. So yeah, he wants to be in that state where he gets the Nexus pings off.
Yeah, it's like
this attack. Yeah,
it's forcing major interaction from Swim side, right? Like the Leviathan has to be answered by like a Vengeance or something.
Right. And so if he can bait out a Withering Wail, for example, that means he doesn't have Vengeance mana or Ruination mana, and thus Leviathan always sticks for 1 round. So this is why he goes Vile Feast instead, is that even though, you know, if you really wanted to play like, quote, mana efficiently, where if you expect there's no interactions left, you would just like Withering Wail pass and wait. That would float less mana overall, but this allows him to hold on to Ruination and Vengeance so that if Leviathan does come down and, hey, you want to play Leviathan on 8, you now have that as the answer to Leviathan, and you can keep sort of control over the board, control of the game. And so Misshot does the same thing, right? It says, okay, I can play to exactly Vengeance mana, and again, if you have Leviathan, I answer it.
Am I screwed? I'm not that screwed.
Just looks kind of wonky to be doing this with, you know, post-combat.
There's not many other plays. I have to jam this. There's no
other it looks strange, but like all the options are making sense because now he doesn't want a Ruination. He wants to land the Vengeance and then play his own 9-cost card.
Yeah. But you are right that like Swim could have landed on this line of play much sooner, because all he did was take the damage and then say, well, I'm just going to Vile Feast after all. And it's like, well, you could have Vile Feasted before the fight then. You could have Mystic Shot before the fight as well. But I think he was trying to say, okay, well, I'll spend 2 mana. Can I use Ruination here? No, I can't. Okay. Then I'll Mystic Shot. Can I use Vengeance here? Okay, finally I can. So I think that might have been like why he ended up landing on that setup. But
yeah, it's just timing.
Yeah.
You know, if both players pass the succession, the turn skips. And so that's exactly what Swim is trying to avoid. He's trying to avoid the turn skipping. And Dog is, you know, technically trying to avoid that too. He's trying to get some threat developed.
Yeah. Swain is still level 1. He's had 2 or 3 options now to use Noxian Fervor to dodge a spell effect, or at least like the spell happens, but he would get the 6 damage trigger towards Swain XP. And he's ultimately been holding on to his cards for a while. He hovered Swain briefly, but I didn't quite catch how much XP it had.
That's the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, Swim being down like an actual removal card here too. It definitely feels like that a 9-cost card could get punished here. Like if Dog has interaction plus a Swain,
is the Rex better?
Like, can the Swain connect and really make something happen?
While it resolves, is the Rex better?
That's tapped for Swim now.
Yeah. Oh, this allows him to Death's Hand into Riptide Rex. This will pretty much guarantee it clears the board out.
Or I can go with Swain after, hit him in the head.
You cannot get Swain down as well, but if you can, so what's interesting here is you have to, if you're gonna kill Ledros off so that you don't take damage, you have to Death's Hand now. So the other play is you Death's Hand. Okay, so he's gonna go for TF gold cards. He's gonna go for he's gonna go for TF red card and Noxian Guillotine. Okay, there are a lot of ways to potentially play that one out. This one allows him to play Guillotine and then also play Swain. I don't believe has enough out of combat damage to flip Swain yet, but Guillotine will always work. There's no mana. You're always safe to do that. This also allows you to play Swain on time, which is going to look really good.
Yeah, it's the Swain comes down and then gets to open attack and connect, and that's 8 points of damage. And look at Dog's hand.
Yeah,
this is very, very well understood timing from Dog.
That's going to look good.
Like he understood exactly what this game plan was here to connect, and so Swim has to respect this, and I think preserve as much life as can.
Yeah, this is double Wither to at least get rid of TF is something. I mean, you can Mystic Shot for the same reason.
Yeah, you Mystic Shot, you're just floating 8 mana.
Yeah. Well, it would let you Mystic Shot into Thermo, I guess, to like try to force stuff out of your opponent. But yeah, if he gets any damage at all, Riptide Rex is a 7 damage play effect. So I think the way that you don't outright die is getting the healing from Withering Wail.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about too. It's like, this Riptide Rex is a one-of, and that's something that Swim has to respect as well.
Sure.
Or Vengeance and one other thing in order for him to have a good turn here. If he does have those, I think I might lose. But it's second Vengeance and second Mystic.
You could also, as a response to this, I think you actually find lethal if you just Noxian Fervor both your units off.
I guess I could double burn his.
With you hit Swain once, you hit TF once. Swain flips. You get 4 from Swain, 6 from double Noxian Fervor, and then 3 more from the Nexus effect.
Yep.
All right, can I set up lethal here?
Wow.
I mean,
which I believe is still not quite lethal.
He's at 10.
Wait, is it not?
Now. This is so bad.
So his opponent's at 10 on board. You can add 6 from 2 Noxian Fervors and 1 from Swain leveling up. So he doesn't kill him. And then Karina can come down and win board control.
He goes to 6. Are going to play the T-Rex?
So there's not really reason to play second Fervor. Not yet. Riptide Rex is also not lethal, but you can Noxian Fervor after you see like Karina.
I don't die to much.
And that probably gets you the rest of the way there. Because Riptide Rex puts your opponent at 3, and then Noxian Fervor next round is lethal. So I think actually hard pass is correct.
He tapped out, which is nice. Lethal, right?
Wow, that was complicated.
Yeah, because there's a lot of ways to play it out. Like you could have used spells, and that would have been okay. The TF's always dead anyway, so it would be a way to, get Noxian Fervor value.
This animation is great.
Yep.
So he's never gonna have time to play another Ledros.
Bang bang. All right. So now Noxian Fervor wins the game at fast speed, unless he has something else to do, and it has to be pretty much drawing healing. I don't think he has it.
I mean, I don't think.
Yeah, there's just no way to. I mean, you have to have 2 effects that heal, and you have to get above 6.
Yeah.
And you also have to fend off an attack. Like that's just not happening.
Yeah. Swim is always dead to Noxian Fervor, and I believe there's nothing you can do about it. And he played it slow. Like I was really concerned about how slow he's playing the game out, but
can he ruinate?
Unfortunately, you could put on the stack, but he still Noxian Fervor is over the top of it. You can play it, and it's not a terrible play necessarily. But based on Dog's hand state, we know there's no plays. Of course, Swim doesn't know he's dead. He doesn't know that it's definitely over. So he's like, well, Karina doesn't hit for 5, most likely. She probably hits for 4. So we can probably kill Riptide Rex. We probably don't kill Swain.
I think the way you win is Karina connecting for 5. But it just doesn't win here because of Dog's hand context. Yeah. So to me, like I just have to give my hat off to Dog in this one. Like he understood the timing of this matchup very well, and that it was, pressure all compounded into a small time frame that made the difference, not necessarily just the pressure itself.
Yeah, that was good. Definitely a really good play. That's one I want to watch back and like watching
as well. That's just good timing. It's very strong understanding, and that's why Dog has been a professional card gamer for a number of years now, and one of the strongest ones out there.
Yep. So now we have the mirror matchup, and I'm going to start trying to count which cards are different here. So they both have 3 thermo beams. Dog has 1 more aristocrat. Dog is running Glimpse Beyond X3, and Swim only has 1.
Probably not. I need to make sure I find Ledros.
Swim is running a Frenzied Skitterer, 2 Frenzied Skitterers and a Gotcha, and Dog is not running either.
Maybe double lease is fine.
Swim is also running 2 Static Shocks that Dog isn't running. And then the bottom end is all pretty much identical.
There's an Atrocity that's different.
Oh yeah, 1 Atrocity on Dog as well. But 3 Grasp, 3 Withering Wail, 2 Withering Wail, actually only 2 for Swim. 3 Vi, 2 Karina, 3 Ledros. So decent amount of tech difference, right? There's like 6 cards or so different across the 2.
It's also just like what the cards mean as well, right? Like Frenzied Skitterer is great against, you know, the little tiny aggro matchups mostly. When your opponent isn't really, you know, bringing the beats on you, the Frenzied Skitterer certainly goes down a bit in value.
Yeah. But there's also value in having, you know, imagine getting to play Gotcha for 2 to kill a lease off. Like that's going to feel pretty good to just like remove their most kind of annoying threat.
Anytime
Doesn't have it though.
Anytime I get to Gotcha.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. It's really, really big in the aggro matchups where you just need the tempo so badly. End of the day though, Dog gets take for 3. Vile Feast could have come down, but didn't need to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm much more in favor of banking the spell mana. Get some cheated development because of the Brood Awakening.
Yep. So has a similar number of sort of spiders on board now, which is also eventually going to look really nice with Frenzied Skitterer down the line. Get a bunch of 3/1s, do something cool with them.
I guess the question here is combat. It seems like second Brood Awakening is potentially changing your ideas.
Yeah, I don't mind it because your opponent's like banking a lot of mana to eventually find a Withering Wail. And also you would like to damage Elise so that you can get to kill her with Vile Feast yourself. Dog lowers his draw quality by playing Crawling Sensation here. There's, you know, the 1 in 33 chance that he draws this Elise instead, which can be a little painful because you don't want to keep drawing this card. Like you want to start drawing the other stuff. You want to draw Karina and whatnot. But it's a very, very small percentage chance. It's, you know, it's like 3 to 4%. But it's 3% every turn for the rest of the game.
What's the opposite of deck thinning?
Deck bulking?
Deck thickening?
You're bulking, right? I like bulking.
Deck bulking. I need a carbo load.
Yeah, I mean that's what playing Crawling Sensation was right there. It's deck bulking.
Deck swollen.
Okay, see, but here's the thing. I don't think it's getting swole though, right? Like in this context, it's not. You're just adding empty cards. You're just adding an empty 2-drop.
Once you get rid of the bulk, then you're stronger. It's very etymologically accurate. There we go. It was hard to say.
We got there though. See, I trust you for all the Galaxy Brain plays.
I get anxiety when this
thicking, yes, but the 2 C's, yeah. You got a golden ant.
Diluting, yeah, diluting makes sense, but
bulking's more fun.
It is way more fun. Also, like if you have a solution, diluting it and thinning it is the same thing.
Oh,
right?
It's true.
Freak like understands words.
So we're increasing the deck's viscosity here.
Yeah, it's getting more viscous. That's why I said bulking.
Viskening.
Viskening? I don't know if that's how the words go.
Get excited at Thermo here, right?
That's not how words.
I don't know.
That's really not how words work.
How the words go.
No. Yeah. I talk for a living, by the way.
I'm up 1-0.
Solidifying. Yeah, but that's a real word. I don't like that Twitch chat. All right. So Dog is similarly distracted. He's back into this one. Gets the round pass to him. And Elise flips, but that's, again, I don't think that's like super duper important. The extra 2 damage on Elise very rarely matters in this matchup. There's not a lot that has 6 health or like, 5 health instead of 3 in most cases. So like even Vi would have been fine. Gets the top deck Vi. It's not perfect.
This is the one situation where like 5 attack on an Elise could really matter, is like Mystic Shot plus Elise. Like that's very unusual. Like just the fact that things are lining up so well for Dog. It's like now that, this has all gone down, Dog has the advantage and he has an aggressive advantage to boot. Yeah. But this is like a bit of a problem for Swim now, where it's like he's got the big 9, but Dog's got a big 9 as well. Dog's also got Ruination if things get out of hand. If Swim keeps having a big development, Dog's gonna have Withering Wail. And the Elise is threatening 5 damage a turn. Like this isn't insignificant at this point.
Yeah, I mean she's threatening even more than that because the Spiders are all fearsome, right? This board is threatening 11. If Swim has no interaction, and yes he does, but if Swim has no interaction, this is Swim at 5 health. Yes, you can Vile Feast 2 of the Spiders off, and trade up 3 health per swing, so you're back up to 11 if you burn both of those cards. You could Vengeance Elise, but it's going to come down too late to remove Fearsome, but that would remove 5. I'm not saying you Vengeance Elise, I think that's wrong, but you have Mystic Shot Vile Feast, that's about as good as well. But then you're a little bit worried about the triple Glimpse Beyond being annoying. But to be fair, Swim only has 1 in that list, but you don't know that.
You want to use more of your cards?
This also broadcasts very widely that there is definitely not Withering Wail in that hand.
No, it's totally there.
For sure there is no Withering Wail in that hand.
I would rather play the 3 spells than the 1 spell. Yes, thank you very much.
In its intended circumstances, yeah.
He's still at 14 here.
What's funny is Dogs actually works pretty well here because he's just going to kill off those 2 Spiderlings now, and the 3rd one as well. You don't have to do it now. You can wait to see if you can bait out Brood Awakening or something, because you're not really playing anything on 7. I'm a little surprised at this.
But he has 2 of them.
Yes, but I would say that I would always just play it on round 7 myself.
More concerned about
in most cases.
I think it's a nod to drawing, like Vengeance or drawing your own big minion.
Yeah. If you ever draw Vi, you want to be efficient there.
Like if you draw your own Brood Awakening, you perhaps want to play it. You got a big signal your opponent didn't have Withering Wail in the previous turn.
Right. It also baits the Brood Awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that. It does bait the Brood Awakening, which is pretty valuable.
So I think it's fine.
Because he has 2, it makes him play the card.
It's just the fact that there is merits to holding it. Like that's the interesting thing to me. Is like very often I find all these strong merits to players holding cards.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the strongest players, they seem like at times that they just recklessly, shove creatures and minions and units into play.
Right.
And sometimes they do, but it's usually when their hands are very strong that they end up doing things like that. Or conversely, when their hands are very weak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely always interesting. This one thing that I saw that someone did back on the Hearthstone sub a super long time ago is he tried to play along with a like top level player's VOD and just said, okay, start of round, I'm going to pause this video, I'm going to play the round out. And then I'm going to then resume the video and see how they played it and track how often their turns were materially different. And it was like actually pretty often. And he's like, I'm like a decent player. He was like, reasonably high rated. He's like, there's actually a lot of like really meaningful round differences here, and only twice was I sure my sort of cohort made an objective misplay. Almost always they just made a very different line of play that I didn't think of, or like didn't think was correct.
So after
it's like interesting to test yourself against that.
Just after a pair of spells, Dog finds himself an advantage. Gets to chip 4 more away.
Yep.
I think. I mean, his Ledger's is.
There's an Elise draw you don't super want, but you're not really in danger. Karina hits at most for 5. And then the double Get Excited only deals 6. So Dog is at worst at 9 health here with Ledros ready to go. Looking real likely for him.
Could be a 2-0 in the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, this game's looking tough for Swim. Yeah. Swim, he had just a ton of proactive plays for the most part. And everything got checked from Dog's side. These decks are both pretty much doing the exact same thing. It's having like 1 or 2 early key cards that can matter, and then a lot of reactive cards to stall out to points like this. But when your opponent's doing the exact same thing, but they've gotten to chip away 10 damage in the meantime, that is a massive difference.
It's a decent card draw here. Wouldn't completely hate Get Excited to remove the Dog card draw, but also doesn't have to happen. I would care more about drawing on Swim's side than Dog's side, but
I guess I
doesn't really change anything here.
His grasps, but I still think drawing for Atrocity is correct here.
The other thought is like, so Swim puts his opponent at about 15. He says, okay, if you're at about 15, if I ever draw Ledros, okay, puts him at 17 here. You know, if he ever draws Ledros, puts his opponent at 8.
Oh, Ledros so good.
Then Double Get Excited gets almost the rest of the way there.
The game might be over.
I mean, can you really attack here though? Your opponent just blocks, and then plays Ledros again.
Yeah, I think you wait. Otherwise, your opponent plays Ledros and then swings with it. And if you don't have a blocker, which we know he doesn't, then it's just bad for you.
Ooh, and that's
that's lethal in hand.
Now he has to account for reactive cards, but
yeah,
I mean from our perspective, this is lethal from Dog's hand. There's nothing that Swim can do about it. But he's got to navigate unknown circumstances.
Sure, it's like, what do you play around? How safe do I have to play this one? He knows he's not threatened to die right away. Even if his opponent has Ledros, there's only 4 mana left over, and that doesn't kill you. This is worth 3 damage in and of itself. He still has Mystic Shots. This still sets up lethal.
This is 2 angles of attack now.
Yeah. So you can play defensive Ledros, but you're still dead to Mystic Shot. And now Dog says, okay, you have 4 mana. That's enough for Vile Feast. And I think he's actually already seen all 3 Vile Feasts. So he actually knows there's no healing left. There's no, I think, possible way for Swim to win this one.
We did it. Oh my God.
Even from Dog's point of view, he knows there's nothing.
I don't think there's a heal for him. He needs a 1-mana card.
Now, the real play is get excited at your own face.
He needs to play like Hapless.
Once you see Mystic Shot, you get excited at your own face. You go out on your own terms.
Vile Feast. No, he's used all Vile Feast. The game's over.
That's the moral victory.
Pretty good stuff.
Wow. It so much was opened up by that early Elise going unchecked.
Yeah.
If that Elise gets checked at any point throughout that, the whole game changes.
Yeah, but she didn't die till run 6, right? When it was double Vile Feast plus Mystic Shot.
Yeah.
Traded that down, and it was like, nope, that wasn't enough. It was too late. Also, yeah, Dog got 2 Ledroses by the time Swim found 1, and just, it was too late. Like, the equal trades weren't enough anymore.
He's doing it.
Yep. Toss the Ledros. Go to the face. That's Sudoku. We're in there. Dog 2-0. The grand champion.
He takes the title of a first Twitch Rivals Legends of Runeterra.